everybody. Welcome. It is the season 50 episode 12 recap. We've got all kinds of people coming in today. Jungle just made it, so there we go. We can hop her on. I know she's crying along with me. We are crying. I was so mad. But let's start with Brandon. How did this episode go for you?
Yeah, Suri was my winner pick. Suri, as Aubrey said, I think is better than Parv, is better than Tony, is better than Boston Rob. Maybe not as good as Parv. I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet, but better than Sandra. She's so good that she cannot win this game, especially on a season with smart players, and especially with somebody like Aubrey Bracco, who she's lasted too long. We've talked about this. Her game has kind of went like that, or kind of went like this. She sloped down
Aubrey
enough.
should be gone.
She should be gone. And then Aubrey kind of has the same storyline as Suri, but a lot more of the underdog story, which is very appetizing for a final tribal council.
But so, Brandon, that's your real perspective, that Suri is better than Tony, better than Sandra, two-time winners, and she's won a total of 0 times.
Yeah, and shocking
at the
enough
game of Survivor, which is about winning the game.
Can I say this? I'll say this. I'll say that she has such a personality. You know what? That's hard to say. If she was good at challenges at all, this could be a different situation. Does she only last as far because nobody's scared of her as a physical threat? Perhaps. That's probably why they keep her on longer. I get that. And so maybe not a better player. If you take out the physical aspect of the game, which is huge, not as huge as Joe thinks it is, but if you cut out that, Suri is one of the best players of all time, over Tony, over can't say poverty, over Tony, over Boston Rob. But then it shows that Survivor is that well-rounded game where you have to include physical, and that's why I think so. But I also think that Aubrey said that in order to really hype up Suri and be like, you have to vote Suri off now. So and good for her, because I think she was the only one who I think was positively impacted by the Suri vote. I think they could have waited another time.
I mean, I don't know. Suri, I think, had other options other than Aubrey. I mean, you kind of have this guy alliance, right? You have the 3 guys who seem to be sticking together, and I think that's why they weren't swayed by Suri, is because those 3 guys, not strong guys, but just guys, they were pretty solid, and that's kind of what I'm projecting going forward, is those 3 guys stick together. Maybe it's an all guys situation at the end. But I don't know. I mean, this was an opportunity for Suri to show that she, and we said this last episode, once Ozzy went home, it's very difficult for Suri to get to the end because she's such a threat. And she is a great Survivor player. And, one of the best of all time. I mean, I guess she's just come back a lot, and she's made it pretty far a couple of times. But I don't know, like, I'm not a Suri hater or anything. I like Suri. I liked her on Australia versus World. She did amazing there. She's definitely very good at the game. She can read people very well, but she's never won the game. And, do you say somebody who's never won the game is a better player than people who have won the game? I mean, I think there is an argument for some players, but I think some people, and, it's different when you're coming back a second, third, fourth, fifth time, and there's this infamy around you too. So I don't know. I mean, putting her up there against Tony and Sandra and Poverty, who's, that's, I don't know.
I can't go the level as Poverty. I cannot go that far. Poverty proved herself over and over again. And Poverty had that missing piece Suri's always had missing. That's that physical aspect. She doesn't have that whatsoever. But I do think, Bree and I were talking about earlier, like Jim Kelly, is he a good quarterback for the Buffalo Bills? Never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino, is he a good quarterback? He's one of the greatest of all time. Never won anything. So, like, I would definitely put 3 in top 5 for sure as one of the greatest players to play the game. So yeah.
I definitely have a lot of thoughts on this, but I want to get over to Johnville. We're both in mourning now. It is what it is.
Yeah, Carmini ran to go put on her shawl, so I was like, oh, let me also toss my grieving shawl on. I didn't think I'd put it on for anyone besides Ozzy, but I can put it on for Sari. She played a good game, but Brandon, I'll agree with you. What she is lacking in her game, she is an amazing strategist. Like, oh my gosh, watching her work, magic. But she lacks the ability to win some of those competitions, which is what really just like is a driving factor for her, I believe.
It's the reason she won Traders, is because
Yeah.
Traders really has nothing to do with physical,
And they
even though
didn't see her coming.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to get us off the statistics. Okay, so Sari's never won. She's not great as a physical challenge. But I think the reason that she is who she is and the why we like her so much in this game, and she is one of the best players, is she has a way. It's the way she plays the game. It is the way she is so thoughtful about everything. She's not a mean player. She's not a villain, but it's the respect for the game and the way that she is so masterful at seeing so much of the game. If Sari came in and nobody knew her, she would wipe the floor with pretty much anybody you put her up against, I think. But I think and she would win the vote. She would be, and they even said it last night, she would win the vote of every single person because she's got everybody loving her still, respecting her still. She's playing the game that Joe wishes he could play, but is inconceivable that he would ever be as smart as Sari is in the game.
I don't think Joe wants to play her game.
Well, also, Sari had every opportunity in this game. She could have aligned with big threats. She didn't. She aligned with Ozzy. She aligned with Ozzy, who is he made the dumbest decision and got himself voted out. So is Sari the best player when she had every option in the game and chose all the wrong ones and got eliminated? And she's the best of all time. She had she should have kept all the big threats around. She didn't.
I disagree. Why? So that they could all take her out at the end? Because even once they got to the end and she's up there against all those big threats, they still could have taken her out. Now, I think her aligning with Ozzy was smart. It was strategic. Ozzy is always one of the biggest targets. It doesn't matter who else is on that beach. Jonathan is still on that beach. And they had the audacity to say that Ozzy was more of a threat than Jonathan. Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand. I'm not saying that Sari is necessarily the greatest of all time, but she's pretty darn good. And I'm not like, you can't knock her game. And I think that, I don't know. I just think that her
she could have kept in Rick Devens, and then he would have been a bigger threat. She could have eliminated. There were so many different ways that Sari could have played this, and she gets herself voted off, and she had every opportunity, every pathway.
Rick Devens'
That's not great Survivor gameplay. And she knows her position. She should be able to project a little bit more, in my opinion. She eliminated Christian, big threat. It's like there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, yeah, Sari's a great player, and she did great on Traders, and she did great on Australia versus World, but she could have played this better. I mean, we can all think that.
I think the Ozzy
is, I agree with Jay. If Ozzy had just played his idol, this entire episode would have looked different. And I just want to throw this out there because I'm so sad. I can't even stay on the whole time today. I have to leave soon. I just want to throw this out there. Rizzo is dead to me. As much as I've defended him for like months, I've been trying to get you guys on Rizzo's side. I cannot believe that he turned on Sari like in the way that he did. And it was smooth. He didn't think twice. He was like, time for her to go. I'm like, I really thought he had her back and it broke my heart. I'm done.
I agree. I'm calling him Timu Tony, the discount Boston Rob, the Risaster. That's Rizzo to me now. We can forget all the other names he wants to call himself. Timu Tony is going to stick with me forever. Sorry, Riz, but you really screwed this up. You did it twice. You were a double disaster, Risaster with not helping Ozzy. These were your three. They could have brought you so far. I think, I don't think he gets votes. I don't think he's the mastermind. I think you've pissed Suri off, and now she's going to find out. She's going to be on that jury. She's going to talk to Ozzy. Ozzy's going to say, no, he never told me to play my idol. He never, he was like, oh, you're safe, and then stab me in the back. And that's exactly what he did to Suri. So you think that Suri is going to curry favor for Rizzo if he's in the final 3? Like, it's just not going to happen. And I don't think it's going to help. I think he lost the game because of how he treated Ozzy and Suri, and it wrecks his chances of getting a lot of votes in this finale.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so disappointed in Rizzo. And can I also just quickly say that I'm putting Aubrey in that challenge? Not that I love that Tiff won, because she would have been the next to go, and I guess that would have preserved Suri for an additional week. I don't know how that would have played out, but I would have been real upset with Suri turning on Tiffany. I know she has to, but like, she was way too conky dory for that for me. But anyway, I was real frustrated with Aubrey because we're at like game time, and what did she do instead of doing her puzzle and potentially winning? She stood over Jonathan's shoulder, telling him how to spell inconceivable. Like, I was so disappointed in her. Blah blah. The chat agrees with me. Team, like all this. Yeah, go chat.
Yeah. Brandon.
There's just so much. There's so much to this. I've been looking at the comments and stuff like that, trying to figure out which one to comment on. As far as, we wanted good, entertaining final 5 would have been Ozzy, Devins, Suri, all 3 getting voted out in the last couple weeks. That's what the fans wanted. However, the caveat to all that is that what that means is everybody else, except for Joe, who's still doing the immunity challenge because he's still moving like a snail, is that these people are stepping up. I think that Aubrey is one of those players who realized, hey, at 7, there's about 4 people who are better than me. Those are the exact 4 I need to vote out right now. And if I'm the one that shows my hand in voting those 4 out, I can win this game. And she very well can win this game. I think Tiffany is thinking the same thing. Hey, I need to win these immunity challenges, or I'm gonna be voted out because I'm a little bit too high on this strategic side, the winning these immunity side. And I still think that she beats Jonathan in that immunity challenge the other day. I think she could have been voted out as the first vote this past week instead because of that threat level. So I think her loss is actually better. Now she's winning everything. Everybody's scared of her. They try to vote her out, but she had immunity. So yes, it is not that exciting of a top 5, but I think to your average, what you should be looking at this means they're kicking out the bigger players, which means they're actually playing the game, which I'm excited about. So not the most exciting final 5, but I think they've come to play and they're trying to make statements, and nobody is kind of a GOAT GOAT, not the greatest of all time. No one's been, and even Joe's winning the challenges. He doesn't have anything else, but at least he's winning the challenges. So
exactly. Yeah, I don't think Joe's doing much. He was frustrating previous episode. He's frustrating now.
Yeah,
I think, Rizzo was instrumental in getting Suri out because he was like, oh, they're shifting to Aubrey. I still think Aubrey would have been a better choice for them at that point in time, or even Jonathan. And or taking the swipe at Rizzo, why are you letting him walk right in? Like, what are you doing? So I think that you can all come united and get Suri out.
Anytime.
And he's lost that fire twice.
They could have split the votes on Rizzo in the favor of Rizzo and still had enough votes to get someone out if he didn't play his idol. It was nonsensical. Tiffany's face and like her just flat out saying it several times. She's so blunt. I'm like, thank you, Tiffany. I don't know that I'm like rooting for you because I was rooting for Suri, but now that Suri's gone, here we go. I got to figure it out again. But yeah.
I'm rooting for Tiffany, and you're just slowly building that immunity challenge, aren't you, Brandon? I
I'm
want to get Alex's feedback in here too, though.
I've said my piece. I've said my part here, and for the most part, it's is Rizzo playing a good game? You know, Aubrey was saying to Jonathan, oh, Jonathan's claiming that as his move, but it's actually my move. And who's really making the moves here and who's going to get credit for these things in Final Tribal? And I think it is going to be hard for Rizzo to get credit for these things. And I think Ozzy's going to come out very viciously towards him. And I don't think Cerie's going to have a lot of nice things to say about him because, you know, he'll come back, well, I'm here and you're there. And that doesn't really play well usually. You know, what is the big move that Rizzo did? You know, he wasn't a target. He, you know, same kind of with Tiffany. People say they really like Tiffany, you know, and so she has that likability factor. Is she going to be just because everybody likes her? I don't know. So it's going to be really interesting if you do have this kind of like nightmare blunt rotation, Joe, Jonathan, Rizzo at the end. It's like, you know, like that's going to be boring, you know, and like who's going to win that? I think it's going to be Jonathan just because he's got a lot of people who are cut from the same cloth, you know, on the jury. And he was a big threat the whole time. And he did make some big moves. He was the guy going back and forth between the camps. He got Ozzy out. Can Rizzo claim that? I mean, Rizzo, I think if anybody can in some ways claim that, it could be Rizzo, but Ozzy had a close relationship with Joe too, and Jonathan. Any one of them could have alerted Ozzy, and Ozzy would have trusted them. So I don't think Rizzo can really claim, he can't claim that vote because Aubrey would probably say, no, that, you know, if Aubrey's on jury, she'll say, no, that was mine, you know, to get Cirie out. That was my plan. That wasn't. So, you know, it's going to be hard for Rizzo. You know, there hasn't been any of these big plays, right? Rick got eliminated this episode. And just on this episode, you know, they all of a sudden 10 minutes in, they're going to tribal council. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, what is this episode? Like, is there going to be a twist or like, so they didn't even warn us. Like, you know, I was kind of like the episode tempo was a little bit weird.
That was weird.
So I think it kind of made the episode a little bit boring in some ways, even though Cirie got voted off, which was like a big, you know, deal, right? And Rick got voted off, was kind of a big, you know, but they just were like, oh, you know, it's so obvious that Rick is going home. Let's just get this done in 15 minutes. Right.
Which I thought was sad. So to honor them, I would like to say our final goodbyes to some of the three players that I think really had an impact on season 50. Ozzy, who tried to change his stripes and never really accomplished that. He did a bit, but he had a great game. And I really like Ozzy. I think we need an Ozzy. We need someone like him on these games, and truly just an enjoyable player. Devins brought joy, silliness, and a little bit of mischievous behavior. And I loved him for it. And I love the way he was like, I'm going to flip the coin and I'm going to do this. His attitude and his personality just shined in this season. And I love that he was on it and a part of it. And of course, Cirie, she is just an exceptional player. She didn't figure out how to get to the end once again, but I think she has brought something so incredible to the game of Survivor, being the incredible human that she is, as well as a great player. Is she better than Sandra and Tony? She didn't win twice. She didn't win once. But I think she does belong in the greats of all time, because of who she is and how she plays the game. So you all will be missed. Thank you for being part of season 50. Any final thoughts? I know. Peace out to them. They were a lot of fun.
I think we're rooting for Aubrey because, you know, we want an old school person to win. We want a classic player to win.
Yeah, she's last of the old
threat.
school or old era.
Yeah, she's not really super old era or anything. I mean, it would have been cool to have, you know, one of the original people win. I think that's what we were all wanting to happen, and we don't want to see the, you know, it end up with because, you know, the old school, they were really in control, right? But they were such threats, and, you know, there's kind of this insurgence from the bottom, and, you know, that's just kind of how it goes. And that's kind of what we were all thinking would probably, you know, happen, would be these big names. They're too big. They'll get eliminated early. And I think that's also a tragic part of the season, is none of the people who seem to have really shaped the game are going to be in the end. But they're going to be on the jury. They're going to be making some interesting points there. And then we're having the live reunion too, so we can all look forward to that.
We are. And I want to put this out there. I'm going to roll it across the bottom of the screen. I'm sorry. I know Jeff is like, no, Ozzy. But I think Cirie just made an incredible impact. So you can vote for who you want to, but I put in several votes for Cirie because I got lots of emails. So
you know who
please
else has
vote.
lots of emails? The public, and they don't need lots of emails for Ozzy to win because Ozzy will win naturally. But I leave the rest of this fantastic session to you all.
No,
I gotta piece out the way my
Oz-
team pieced out.
Ozzy will forget to vote for himself. He will.
He won't, and he shouldn't.
Yes, he will.
I'll see you guys in the chat.
Thank you, Johnville. Well, let's get the next stuff up. I know we've got a lot of chat. I've been trying to keep up with the chat as well. Yay. You voted. Thank you, Carmini. I'll send a message to her. Let's add this. Let's get Brandon up here doing his thing. Oh.
Yeah, so Suri was Vanua's favorite. If you don't know Vanua is a Facebook group. I think one of the best on the site. A lot of community, a lot of good things. Finale parties being mentioned all over this great nation of ours. Winner candidate prediction 51%, which is the highest it's ever been for one person. Of course, the percentage will rise because there's less people. But Suri, 51%, Vanua's favorite, 44%, a rise after Ozzy went out by 24 points. Elimination prediction, Vanua has been about 50-50 this season. They got 50-50 again with Suri going out, Aubrey staying in, and then they want honor and integrity to die. And would eliminate Jonathan and Joe in that group. So no surprise there, I don't think. From anybody. As you can see, Devins is kind of on the bottom where he's always like in third or fourth place on all these. And so I think people started to gravitate towards like, can he do this? Like, is he able to escape being the number one guy? Like I kind of compare it to like Tyson's season when he won. He was kind of riding the waves and on top after his loved one got voted out and was able to keep on keeping on and win that season. So I think we were hoping for Devins to pull it off just because he's so much fun and dances like a dad. There's the vote right there. Everybody and their mom voting for Devins. Devins not safe. 0 for 4, I think, this season when it came to the no safe, roll of the dice. He flips coins better than he rolls dice, folks. That's all we can say about Rick Devins. Last comments, as Bree just gave us kind of the final sign off for Ozzy and Devins and Suri. Here's how he ended up: 5 for 4, tribal council voting. Wasn't always on the right side of the numbers, but definitely had his own way to get by, even though he wasn't necessarily voting and had much control of the vote throughout the whole entire seasons. Challenge wins 1, relationships made, Christian, Suri, Emily, Aubrey, and the good old Devins Joe standoff, the good versus, or I don't want to say good versus evil, but the deception and chaos versus honor and integrity, which we love to see on Survivor. So last words on Devins, guys.
I totally enjoyed him this season. I thought he was fantastic. He brought so much fun and frivolity. I don't use that word very often to the game, but it was fun. It was crazy. He was like, I don't care. I'm just going to do it. You want me to flip a coin? I'll do it. Let's go. I like skipping and happy and hiding an idol at tribal and just being the goofball that he is. I want every season to have a Devins character on the show. Like when you're in casting and you're looking, like you need to have somebody like him to bring some joy to this. I can just imagine what he was like when the cameras, like the things they didn't put on and the craziness and the silliness that he would have done. I really liked him a lot. I'm sorry he's gone. I think you could have taken him far. He wasn't going to get votes, but he would have just like.
Oh, I think he would have gotten votes. I do. I
don't know if he would have, because he didn't. His game didn't feel serious or as intentional. I mean, it did, but it did it because I think he just. But yeah, he might have gotten some votes at the end, but he wouldn't have beaten a Suri. He probably wouldn't have beaten Aubrey even at this point, I think. But that's just me. What do you think, Alex?
It was strange that he couldn't find the idol. I was thinking, is the idol going to be hidden at the reward, which I don't really like, because then it really like limits the amount of people who can find it. You have to be very lucky, right? I'd like everyone to kind of have an even chance around camp or something like that. So it was curious that he couldn't find the idol. Was there an idol hidden and he just couldn't find it? And did production not want him to, like what, like why could he not find that idol? That was really kind of I don't know, brain bust, right? You only have so much time, right? So I'm curious, was there an idol? It was rehidden. Yeah, it's rehidden. And yeah, just when he was crying in the hammock, I was thinking, is that after the challenge? I think he said if I can still win this immunity, because he had opportunities to find it, he just never did. So that was disappointing. Yeah, he definitely added some excitement into it, but he was playing, everybody was against him. It was so kind, that he would play a shot in the dark and nobody wanted to make this inroad because he had burned his bridges with Jonathan and with Joe when they voted off Chrissy and Coach. He was pivotal in that moment, making this big show of things and burn those bridges, and then just he's an outcast on the island, right? And nobody wanted to work with him. So yeah, he's fun guy, but
let's remember too that the gameplay, he was playing a 39-day season first. Now it's 25, so less time to find an idol.
Right.
He didn't find an idol all season. This season, the only idol he had, he planted. So
he won.
And last season too, he won a whole bunch of immunity. Like he said, he won 4 challenges last time he played. So I think, especially like for me, I think I'm decent finding things. Me and my son go out geocaching every now and then. We have a good time doing it. But when I'm like stressed and have high anxiety and I'm about to lose $2 million that I made $1 million of it, which has never happened. When I'm stressed, I can't find anything worth a darn, like my keys, my wallet, all those things.
I can't even find my keys.
Yeah. That's if I was looking for my keys and someone was going to offer me $2 million, I definitely wouldn't find my keys because I'd be so stressed. So kudos to him for trying. I think they hit something. Do we have any proof that there was an idol that was hidden after they played these?
Somebody said they were rehidden. Who knows?
I would think they would be, but like it's almost, they've only got now.
Well, that means there should be 3 idols out there, right? I mean, two idols out there hidden. So I don't know if they even. Maybe Billie Eilish took them both home. I don't know.
Here's my thought on the idol things, especially with Rizzo. I feel like he's probably a smart bet to bring to the end because he wasn't liked very much. And just because he held on to his idol so long, I don't think that's any great accomplishment for him. I think with other people it has been. But like, this whole I'm going to play my idol and I don't play it. It's just like, you're not a big enough threat, so we don't care.
And here's what's not going. Here's what's not going for him is that if he says I did it 2 seasons in a row. Well, here's the thing. No, that's the curse with him playing in a season that no one saw is no one there knows that he did it. So half his game is nobody knows what he did. I do think that in this season they are going to consider the whole entire story of the Survivor, not just this season in some cases. So I think like we kept on hearing that Aubrey and Suri have played for so long that I think there is going to be an emotion attached to voting for them that might move somebody a little bit closer to voting for them, even though they have a whole different resume. I think that does add to a resume. Rizzo doesn't have that. And for whatever reason, he thinks that this is going to be his calling card. If he gets there with Joe, I think he beats Joe, but he has to get there with 3 players, not just 2. And it's going to be hard to figure out who that third person is that he can beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an advantage coming in without people knowing your story, your gameplay, having no infamy behind you.
But then you have no one knows what you did beforehand, so they can't know. Okay, so you did this twice. I didn't see half of what you did. So yeah.
Oh, he'll bring it up
it's definitely an
final
advantage, right? But then it's also, a disadvantage in that way too.
Yeah. So
because people feel like, oh, I know this guy already and I can play, I mean, it's something to say that you have 3 people who are very new Rizzo, Tiff, and Joe in the final. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Well, that's why I
mean,
think Aubrey goes, is because she's the
Right.
last old school. And I think
Right.
they're going to be like, it's going to be old school are going to vote for old school. And Aubrey is a master at this game and she's got a great resume anyway. And that could be the tipping point. You know, anybody's on the fence with somebody, they'll be like, well, Aubrey, you know, has done so much for this game. We'll give her, you know what I mean? I just think that it's at this point a ridiculously stupid idea to bring Aubrey any farther on anything. You know, Rizzo's got this, is he's gonna keep his idol, or we can play his idol, or whatever he does. He's not going home. I think all votes go on Aubrey. That's just an early call from me, but I
But they
think
gotta
old
get.
school, new school's gonna. This is where it's gonna come down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be that old school, new school separation. I think they're going to vote for Aubrey. She makes the end because she's Aubrey, because she has had that game in play. I think that Tiffany is another person that they need to get out in this game. So I think if Aubrey's smart, she gets out Tiffany and she gets out Jonathan. If Tiffany is smart, she gets out Aubrey and she gets out Jonathan. If Jonathan's smart, he gets out Tiffany and he gets out Aubrey, and Rizzo and Joe go there. The thing about Aubrey, she's unlike Devin. She's not trying to entertain anybody. She doesn't care if she brings two of the lowest players to the game. She's not like Ozzy saying, hey, I'm going to bring the two top players to the game with me to show that I'm really the champion. Aubrey wants to win $2 million, and she doesn't care about entertaining anybody. And that is going to be the reason why she brings a Rizzo and a Joe to the end, for sure.
Yeah.
I think you really saw this episode like a winner type edit for Aubrey, right? Like they kind of maybe even foreshadowed this, like, why wasn't I just focusing on myself and building my own puzzle? I mean, she's good at puzzles. She's not, nothing in physical challenges. She's got some dexterity. She could win these final last couple of ones, right? Depending on what they are. And, maybe she we also have to think we're going to fire too. Let's say Tiffany gets voted off next time, which I think is maybe possible if Aubrey wins, right? It's the three guys. Who are they sending to fire against Aubrey if she doesn't win that one, right? Is it going to be Rizzo? I think Joe and Jonathan would probably put Rizzo out there. Rizzo loses that fire again, at that final moment against Aubrey, because Aubrey's
he didn't have time to practice. He lost it last time. Yeah. But he hasn't, not like Suri, who lost at fire twice, so she should have probably practiced.
Maybe they put the firefighter on the fire. Okay. Yeah, I do think Aubrey would, and they were talking this, like, Aubrey's like, my mistake last time was I brought the wrong people and I'm not doing that again. There's winners at it. And so who's she going to bring?
Rizzo.
Joe, Riz, and she would, I would assume, maybe not sweep it all, but win a lot. I think Joe might get a vote from coach or something. I don't know, but Joe burned coach, right? Didn't he? So maybe it'll be a sweep for Aubrey. If she can pull off, she has to get immunities though,
Guys, I think this is a great time as we talk about zero vote Joe, as we talk about Sleepy Joe, Survivor style, that we play another round of Joe Hunter's inconceivable immunity hindering spelling bee competition. Once again, this is not making fun of ADHD. We're only saying these things, or not ADHD. He has dyslexia. I think he has. Yeah. And so we're not making fun because he made fun of himself. So now we can enjoy misspelling with Joe Hunter. So you can play at home. I know there's a little bit of a lag, but we have some words that we want to figure out. And we'll say it's Bree versus Alex on this one. So if you guys are ready, let's do this. Here we go. Where are we at?
Why does the word, what word, how does inconceivable relate to Survivor? Why was that the word?
That's what's inconceivable about it, Alex.
Right.
I gotta tell Johanna, I do that every single time I see a C and then an EI. Every time my brain does that. Yes.
Except after C. Yeah.
I can hear her laughing in the background. That was priceless. Thank you.
That was good. All right, this next one. And the thing is, he spelled it right. Yo, you spelled it
Yeah,
right.
he did
Good
spell
job.
that right.
Give,
You know,
give
the
yourself
thing of
some
those
credit.
blocks is that they had to have both sides correct, and that confused even me. So
Yeah. Well, two people got, and it confused Aubrey because Aubrey was sitting there. This wasn't Joe's fault. Obvious, not just Joe's fault. It was her versus the world. This was Liz helping. Was it Maria or no? They were going against Maria, or what was that situation? Right during that last challenge where Charlie or somebody helped Liz win. Do you remember that? On like 47. Maybe not. It wasn't spelling challenge. How about this one? How about this one? This is very season 50. This challenge.
Billie Eilish, Boomerang Idol. This is really good for the listeners of the podcast. Yeah. Billie Eilish, Boomerang Idol.
We'll do one more.
Billie Eilish, who cares absolutely zero and knows nothing about Survivor. Her podcast interview went kind of crazy because she was like, I don't even know. They just like told me to pick something and I did. And I thought the Idol. Did you see Wentworth do the replay of it? Was Kelly Wentworth. I want to see her back, and she cracks me up.
Somebody said, in the comments, they were saying, is Rizzo, I would love to see Rizzo come back a third time. I think Rizzo's going to be back. He's going to keep coming back. He's going to be one of these fixtures, whether we like it or not. And most of us don't like it, but yeah, he's going to be coming back a third, fourth, he's going to be on Survivor 100, type of thing. So young, right? They like him, and he'll be
Laura Angel popping in the chat for the first time. Great to have you here. Yeah, inconceivable that the best 3 players of the season are now gone.
That's why they chose it.
I agree.
That's why they chose it. Let's keep on going just a little bit. Suri vote right here, 4-2. Tiffany hanging on with Suri. Again, I don't think that this was best for anybody's game except for perhaps Aubrey. Definitely Tiffany. I think this actually helps Tiffany because it proves, hey, we're not with you. We're still against you. We're trying to get you. We're trying to get you. We're trying to get you. That only ups her status, only ups her as a player. But she now has to win both immunities to win this game of Survivor, I think. Are you guys in agreement with that she has to go undefeated these next 2 challenges?
Yeah, I think so. I think it will play in her hand if it's a physical with a mental, which they do quite a bit. So we'll see, they've got to get all the pieces there and then they have to be able to put it together, kind of like the one that she just did. If that happens, I think Tiffany is definitely the one. But if we get something where I don't know what they're going to do for these next 2 challenges, I'm completely clueless. What is that one with the balls spinning around and they go one way one time and there's a name for it. Right. Y'all in the chat probably remember. I can think of the name of what it is. It's something motion, but
right.
I think it's called Overdone.
Overdone. That is the name of it. You're right. For sure. I don't know of all of these people who wins that.
It's pretty like almost, it's not luck based, but it's anybody's game type of thing.
Yeah, I think I might have a problem with it. And maybe Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean that is a very ADHD heavy game. If you're somebody who can use that superpower ADHD to fixate on something, that's awesome.
But which gives Tiffany a good chance.
I'm not saying Tiff doesn't have ADHD, but she's pretty chill.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't come off as I don't know. I know some ADHD.
She's really good about hanging her, not being reactive. She's been awesome at that. And I think that's her fixating on before it happens. She fixates and be like, I can't get mad. I have to be cool about this. She's done that a couple times. I agree, Alex.
Got to call this out really quickly. Fun fact, Carmini was on Wheel of Fortune and Scrabble. So just in case you didn't know, we had celebrity in the house, in the chat with us today. That's really cool, Carmini. You have to post into Vanua Facebook so we can watch those episodes.
What's the challenge that they did this episode where they hold the rope and they're stacking the tiles like Brandon's doing? Can we retire this challenge? I do not like this challenge.
I kind of like this one.
They've done it. I feel like they do it all the time. I'm just I'm over it. It's they were putting the blocks in their mouth, and it's just like, okay, got it. Can we? It's like the lowest budget challenge on earth too. Can we push a giant boulder or something? Can we have Jonathan throw a giant snake over a wall or something? You know,
I'm totally for that.
Stacking blocks.
But I do think we have to give Survivor probably an A- on challenges overall this season. I thought they offered some of the classics. Alex, I agree with you. Maybe this one was a little bit too much, but you have to get the classics in. You had to get the Survivor auction. Maybe the ball thing has to happen for us to feel like we're on Survivor. But I think they had enough creative ones that weren't exactly Australian Survivor-esque, like we all want to see. Come on, Jeff. Let's do a couple Australian Survivor. The big old long slide they slide down. Those are always fun.
And we didn't see a lot like Ozzy. I saw Ozzy in these outtakes, these interviews with him after he got voted out. We didn't see a lot of water this season.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of water challenges where other players could have done really, really well. Now, Saray would have done terrible at it. We know that. But we didn't see, the one where they have to like breathe through the bars as long as they can as a tide is rising. That would be like an absolute nightmare for me to do that one. But we haven't seen a lot of swimming or when you have, maybe we'll see that coming up where they have to grab a ring, swim or go underneath with the rope and come up the other side and then put the ring on the thing, and maybe we'll start to see something like that, but I don't know.
Speaking of which, did you hear about the random I think it was Survivor Papua New Guinea or something like that, or maybe they're in Papua New Guinea. They had to evacuate somebody because he lost his leg spearfishing.
What?
Look it up.
That's
Someone lost their
insane.
leg on a like not Aussie Survivor, but on one of those shows. Look it up. I have not done a fact check on it yet, but
did you say Survivor Papua New Guinea? They have their own Survivor series. That's crazy.
They got everybody. I think Antarctica has their own too. Like it's crazy. There's a bunch out there. Just watch out.
We know. We agree the prize money should be higher, Jay.
Penguins are half the cast.
American Survivor challenges been said many times before. It's like challenges you can do in your bedroom. It's like nothing's, then they're baby. Like I want to see some head-to-heads. I want to see Coach sparring again with Colby. We want to see the head-to-heads. Everyone's so fragile.
They've had 50 seasons to like get their act together. And that's the other thing. When I hear all these people about winners, edit and all these different things and how they're editing it, I truly believe that like some of that stuff just isn't.
They have to tell the story. You have to tell a story. Like that's their job.
And I feel like they're going to be maybe a little wise to the fact that everybody's going to talk about who's got what confessionals and who's got what edits and who like if they haven't gotten their act together by season 50 to like say, hey, you can't base your wager on who's got so many confessionals. Like we've figured that out by now.
Yeah,
I hope.
Yeah, that's fine. And I think that once they have a publicly majority rules thing that they are saying out there, Survivor's done a great job by saying, so you think so, huh? Let's not show anybody for like half the season. So I think that Survivor does a great job of changing the way they edit based on public speculation on some of these things. This season, we're going into it, and I don't know if I know an obvious winner right now. I don't think they had it. Joe did not give them enough to even try to say that he has a winner's edit. I think they're doing their best by this, maybe the social beast thing. I don't know. Maybe they're doing their best by showing, Rizzo's Last Standing Wizard of Oz. Tried. I don't think they have enough for him either. They've done a good job of showing his better moves, I think, pretty well. And I think they did a good job throughout the season of just slowly telling you that, hey, Tiffany has some relationships with key people all the time. She had it with Ozzy for a little bit. She went on that meal with Joe for a little bit, and they gained some trust. So I think they did a good job this season by not pushing, hey, we want to tell you who won the season. And I think they did that well.
this episode was essentially 2 episodes. They just had twist after twist. Billie Eilish. Oh my God, Jimmy Fallon. Mr. Beast is here. I thought the fans wanted twist. Where the twist at? There ain't no twist on this. 2 people get eliminated. No twist.
Yeah, I know.
What
and
the
they're
heck?
The biggest players.
And they're the biggest players. They don't give them any. There was no journey. There was nothing that could have saved Devins. There was nothing that could have saved Suri. No, where the twist, Jeff? I thought the fans voted. I thought it was in our hands.
I wanted to see Devin sneak into another camp like Sarah Lucina did and have to try to grab the idol that's hidden at like I want to see stuff like that. Make them do insane things that are like risky but like
super risky,
fun. Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. Like this episode was boring because like they're getting us all accustomed to Jimmy Fallon and Mr. Beast, and, you know, all this stuff, all these crazy, and then it's just like snooze fest episode. You vote off the 2 people, and it's like I don't think anybody was even entertained by it.
Yeah,
I think to be fair, I do think that there are those people out there saying, "Oh, there's way too many twists this season," stuff like that, and so it feels weird for me to say, "Oh, there was no twist." And what's even more ironic is that the best players, I think, socially at a normal game of Survivor, these last 2 votes went home. So I thought that was a bit ironic too.
Yeah.
That wasn't because of a twist that these people went home.
I think, and this is just my point of view on this whole thing, is that I think what we wanted in season 50 is to, one, see our favorite players come back, which we got. And I think that those are the celebrities basically that you're bringing back into the game, right? We don't need the Billie Eilish. She doesn't care about the idol boomerang. We don't need, I mean, the Jimmy, or yeah, Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, having him do like the coin flip. I did like that, but that could have stood out and been the thing and not any of the other stuff. We didn't need the spearfishing and the music concert and the, you know, the Jimmy Fallon. We don't need any of all that stuff. That's not the twists we're looking for in this game. But I think we did. I don't want to say 50 was such a letdown because honestly, when I started watching this season, it was so remarkable to see my favorite players back on the island. It's something we'd longed for and wanted to see. And to me, that was so gratifying to watch them play again. Am I upset that Suri went home? Absolutely. She's my favorite player. Like, I have a few that are like my top players, all ladies. Sandra, Suri, and Denise are my favorites of all time and how they played the game. But, you know, to see people back on the beach again was the best part of this whole thing. And it did take away bring back some of the fun, like with the auction and some of the different things. But is it a letdown to see who's in the finale? Yes and no. I mean, it's interesting. Maybe it's a letdown because we thought old school would rule new school. And yet here we are, one old school less. The rest are all the new school players. And it didn't turn out the way we had hoped. Maybe these new school actually are decent players, or you know, maybe Aubrey will get to the end and win it all, but who beats whom, I don't know. It's a good question.
It was a great start. I think it all kind of started going downhill when Mike White got eliminated. He brought so much energy to the show, and it'd be so interesting to like see him go far, and just that dynamic and the excitement that Mike White brought, and the commentary and the levity and the, you know, it's so fun watching that guy, and you know, all the personalities. You know, and now you're kind of stuck with Joe. And, you know, it's like, you know, it's not as fun. We need Coach back. We need real character. You know, Jonathan's our character now. Rizza, it's like, yeah. So somebody said it ended. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it's been good overall, but you know, they should have just had old school only, and then it may have been a little bit more even. You know, when you have this new school and old school together,
but then you're just repeating 40, you know,
not as much threats, you know, and those are all the kind of the new school people. And they had to, because, you know, new school doesn't have these super legendary characters and personalities, they bring in a Tiff who's, she's doing great in this game, but she's no legend. You're bringing Rizzo, who's, had one okay,
A legend in his own mind.
Legend in his own, yeah, literally, or Joe, who's just not a good player, just flat out isn't a good player.
But
yeah,
he had
a
that
special
moment,
and he's Jeff's favorite, Survivor actor, but so I think that's where maybe 50 went wrong. Is they should have just did all old school, just all infamous people. Bring on, and this is where it's Survivor corporate retreat. They can't bring on Russell, they can't bring on Fair Play, they can't bring on these infamous.
Fair Play would have messed this up so much. Would have been a blast.
Right, that would be like amazing. Like bring on Fair Play and Russell, like those two playing together. Like talk about TV. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Are we trying to make some TV here? No, Jeff wants to make kids television.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, to your question, who beats whom? You basically have them in the order that I hope is how it goes. I'd love to see Tiffany win. If she doesn't win, I want to see Aubrey win. And if Aubrey doesn't make it there and doesn't win, I want to see Jonathan win. And then just because he did have a little bit more of a game than Joe, I would see Rizzo in fourth and then Joe bottom of the heap. I don't think he did. I think Joe is probably a tremendously amazing human being, but I don't think he's a tremendously amazing Survivor player. When it comes to winning and deserving of Soul Survivor. So you got the right order for me.
Yeah. And Joe's on this season because he fits whatever the old school mindset was from a new era player. Like we talked early on, a year ago, about archetypes, and he fits the archetype. Season 50 was about, hey, let's show you exactly what Survivor has been. It was not called Survivor All-Stars. It was not called Survivor Heroes versus Villains. It was called, basically the celebration of 50 seasons. And unfortunately, they have players like Joe in the past, and so they hit their goal of having that archetype. I will never cheer for a Joe. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I tell you what, there is a fan base for Joe, which again, I can't fathom, but people do like Joe. So I think they did a good job by having him out there. I don't like it. I don't like 0 vote finalists. I want to see a Dominic and Wendell ending between two people. And that's why I hope that Tiffany, Aubrey, and Jonathan are all at the end, because they all have 3 different kinds of games. That's not going to happen because Aubrey is not playing to entertain us. She's playing to win the game. And that means she has to vote out Tiffany, and she may have to vote out Jonathan to do so. So I think that's lineup. If we want to go even further in this lineup, I did nerd out and create what I thought was where everybody stands. And I would think with this jury that Aubrey and Tiffany are up front. And I think with honor integrity people, I think Jonathan is there. Joe may receive a vote or 2 if the right 3 are there. But pretty much Riz and Joe are just there so that one of those 3 can ride with those 2 and win this game. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, the ones that I don't think Devins would vote for Tiff. I think he would vote for Aubrey over Tiff. I think even Sari might vote for Aubrey over Tiff, even though she likes Tiff. And they were aligned at the end there. I just feel like they just have so much respect for Aubrey. And if she, these last couple of episodes, if she can make it through, wins immunity, wins fire, some combination of that, she somehow squeezes through, like people are really going to respect that because they know that she's the threat and she'll be the one kind of sole large threat to survive. Christian, I think you got it right there. D too. Yeah, I think D's going to potentially vote for Tiff. But those would be the only ones that I would make. And Ozzy too. Like I think Ozzy does have a respect because look, Aubrey can kind of go back to Ozzy, and say, hey, I got you to admit to me, and I wasn't aligned with you, Ozzy. You knew that.
That's a great point.
And he's like, you're right. Oh my gosh, I told you, you were the person who leaked it. You completely flipped on it. My allies, how stupid of them, but good on you because you flipped all my allies. I feel like Ozzy, he's not going to respect the people who he trusted, but he'll respect, in Ozzy's mind, so.
That's
and isn't that what happened with like
Ozzy,
Coach too, back when he played with Coach, right? coach betrayed him?
Yeah, Ozzy has to decide if he wants to vote for physical strength or if he wants to vote for Aubrey selling his game to Ozzy, saying, "Hey, like I took what you said, ran with it, and that's why I'm here. Why I'm here." And I think with Devins is, I think Aubrey somehow has to convince Devins, if Tiffany is still in the game to begin with at the end, that, hey, I did misplay the idol, or I should have kept it a little bit longer. I think Devins has the right to say that I played better than Aubrey in a lot of cases, especially with that how that idol was done. But that's why I would put it Tiffany over at Aubrey for Devins. Bree, your thoughts?
I mean,
I think we got this all wrong all the way through. So I think Christian, Coach, Chrissy, Stephanie, Ozzy, Devins, and Suri, even Suri, if Aubrey makes it to the end, they vote for her. I think they see her. I think they see her. They equate. Remember, they've played with her before. They love her. They know her. They have relationships with her. They will take, unlike Tiffany, who they didn't really see much of her game because when she went home the last time. And I think that they are going to give Aubrey credit for how well she has done, not just in this season, but in past seasons. I think that plays to Aubrey's benefit. I think old school votes for Aubrey. I think that if she makes it, she's the only one that makes it to the end as the old school player that she has her vote. That's why I think they have to get rid of Aubrey if any of them want to win at this point, because I don't think the rest of them have enough of a game, present or past. No one has even seen Rizzo's game, and his wasn't that impressive in the last season. So, like, I think the votes go to Aubrey. I think she's the clear winner for most of the jury. Dee might go Tiff. Emily, who flips, I don't know where she goes. She could vote for Jonathan. I have no clue.
I was actually thinking that Dee might vote for Jonathan. I mean, he was pivotal in voting her out. You know, they had this confrontation, they were aligned, and he can kind of, he definitely has found his voice and is, speaking out a lot and maybe sometimes putting his foot in his mouth, but he can claim some things. And if he's in the final with Tiff, I think he has Tiff is on the outside of the alliance. Jonathan was definitely on the in alliance, so I definitely think Jonathan could win. He was a big physical threat. And made this alliance, with Rizzo and made Rizzo betray his easy path to go forward to go with, him. So, I think, is Aubrey vindicated giving up her idol? That everybody was saying, hey, Aubrey, that was such a dumb decision. How could you? She gave up her idol and she basically fell off the map.
It is that could be in her favor. It wasn't intentional, something intentional she did. Hey, I need it, but it was something where she said, I need to give this up to get off the map to do what I need to do to rise.
And unlike Rizzo, who, if she is at the final with Rizzo, he didn't.
Rizzo's not going to win this risk. Rizzo's not
right. I know, but he's not. But that's one thing to just deflate Rizzo a little bit more, elevate herself. Say, hey, unlike Rizzo, who everybody knew he had an idol. He could have given it up at any time to free himself up to play a better game and to, and to play this game like how we're all playing it, right? Not with this fake idol that Billie Eilish gave us, right? And he didn't do that. So that's another, I think, notch in her belt to say, I was protected, but I intentionally put myself out there, even though I'm the biggest threat in the game. I could have faked it out like Rizzo every single time and pissed everybody off and just like spat in all your face, right? So,
yeah. Yeah, I do think that Dee could vote Tiffany in the way that they were friends on that island. I think that Dee would have kind of played the same game as a Tiff and being like, hey, I need to win these challenges. She has that physical aspect. She's on the challenge. So I think that's where Tiff could get the vote from Aubrey. But again, I think Tiff and Aubrey are so smart that neither one of them is going to let the other person in the final three. That's just, I think, what's going to happen.
And unless Tiffany does win, and then she doesn't have the votes to get Aubrey. I mean, I personally, my hope would be for just to have the Timu Tony have no votes if he makes it to final count. I like solidly in third place with 0 votes, please. Thank you. That is in honor of Ozzy and Suri. Please, nobody vote for Timu Tony.
I love that name, by the way. Fantasy draft real quick since we're running out of time. This is pretty even, pretty crazy how even this is. There's our second and third votes for Benjamin and Jane and Michael, Jennifer, Jamie. So that's exciting that I think we do have different people that fit different stereotypes or archetypes. And so that's kind of exciting that we have some different personalities at the end, even though it's not our favorite excitable characters who are also entertaining us at the same time. Fan of the week is Perry Goulford. I don't know if I'm saying that right, from Tennessee. Perry, you are the Vanua fan of the week. You'll get to hear a story on Vanua website. Also, little does she know, but we have a fan of the week, and it is Johnville for next week, our very own Spill the Immunity. She's not on here to say it, but thank you, Johnville, for stepping in and being a part of Spill the Immunity on just like a 5-second notice. Every single week she's been here. Do you guys want to say anything about Johnville while she's listening to you?
She's so fantastic. And, you know, we have this bonding moment now that is so near and dear to my heart. It's something that's, you know, going to haunt us for forever, but we can't escape it. That our favorite players were voted off, but you know, I'll meet her on the beach anytime. Love you, girl. Thank you.
Perfect. And Alex, I feel like you guys are a rivalry. I think you guys are like the Boston Rob, Russell Hantz, you and Johnville, and how much you guys have agreed each other all season.
You know, it's been fun to have Johnville on and have a little bit. You guys are too nice to me, so we got to have some opposition. And the fangirling over Ozzy, you know, excited for a new season. Maybe not Ozzy, you know, but maybe she'll have maybe she'll find new love. Who knows?
That's right. So we have a season finale tailgate live from Indianapolis. We'd love for you to join live here on YouTube on Beyond Reach Studios, Spill the Immunity next week. And then we will be doing our finale special next Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Guys, let's get to who we think is going to win Survivor 50.
I think it's for me, it's going to be either Tiffany or Aubrey if they're in it. I think I know that she doesn't have the edit or the confessionals or the whatever production thing that everybody puts their money on. But I think Aubrey goes home next week because she is the only old school and she will capture way too many votes. If Tiffany is thinking that way and she was talking to Suri, I think, you know, hopefully Suri is like, Aubrey has to go because she will get votes. I hope that they had that discussion that we didn't get to see before Suri left. I'd love to see Tiffany take the whole thing. So I think Aubrey goes home next week and Tiffany wins her way into the finale.
I think it's going to be Jonathan. I don't think, you know, we'd like Aubrey to win. I just don't think she's gonna be able to pull off the immunity. I think Christian's gonna vote for Jonathan. I think Rick is gonna vote for Jonathan. He's got his cut from the same cloth. Chrissy, Coach. If Joe somehow ends up on, you know, he was a big physical threat. He got Ozzy out. He got a lot of these big threats out. You know, as much as he maybe wasn't the mastermind, his game changed. He evolved. His story is different from the first time he went out there. And, you know, he played a loyal game, but he also played a new game. You know, so I think he has actually a compelling story. Can he articulate it? We don't know. His Boston Rob training looks like it's paid off. We love Boston Rob. I think Boston Rob is, you know, one of the best players of all. You know, I think he's way above you know, Sari or, you know, even you know, we love Boston Rob. He's a great guy, right? So yeah, I think Jonathan can pull it out. I think he's got an interesting story. Can he articulate it? He's found his voice. It's not always been effective. So we'll have to see his final speech, but that's why I'm picking Jonathan. $2 million. What will he do with it? What is he going to do? $2 million. That's interesting. Interesting thought.
A partnership with Boston Rob, the Boston Rob School of Survivor.
I think
it's like School of Rock meets Fiji Islands.
I think I'll go. I think that Jonathan and Tiff are out of this game because I think the manifesto for Aubrey was saying that she is now here to play. I forget when she said it, but it was early in the episode. This is Aubrey's game to lose. Those two go home. Zero Vote Joe's going to be there, who is going to be surprised to hear from both Rizzo and Aubrey that, what are they going to say to baffle him at the end? 0 votes. Rizzo, maybe a vote. Aubrey Bracco, the winner of Survivor 50.
We'll see you next time. It'll be the finale, and we're really excited about it. We got all kinds of fun stuff going on. So stay tuned to watch your calendar because we might have some extra special events that are coming up as well. Thanks for joining us and the chat off the chain once again. Appreciate all of you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.